So the next section we're going to be creating is the blog section. The blog section. So I'll just go back to the HTML, copy this, paste it here. I'll change this to blog, save that. First, I'm going to start with a section tag with the ID of blog. Wrap it up with a container, class container. Want the div with a class of head, the class of grade as well. So now I'm going to create a div with a class of left. So now we are creating this part, the head part. So now our H4, this will be blog. Now I'll write the tag H1, and this is we write to learn. We write to learn. So underneath the class left, I'm going to write another div with a class right, and button view, wanted to be view all, save that. This is the button, view all. So now we'll come to this part of the blog. Let's check. So this is the bottom, view all. Want to come to the part of the blog, this part. So now I'll go underneath the container div. Underneath the container div, we have another div with a class of boxes. We have a UL and an li with a class of box1 and the class of active. So underneath that, I want the div with this class of section title, section title. In that, I'll create an image. The source will be images/lady green. I don't know why I gave that name lady green. There's no lady that is green right here, but that would be a mistake. I don't know. It wasn't intentional, so okay, the image is kind of big right now. So let's go back to the final website. So underneath the section title, I want to create a div with a class section content, section content, and I want the H3 tag. Now write branding. I want you guys to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to open the last. So the H3 branding. So now I want to use the H1 tag, H2 tag rather, and that one will be financial service. financial service. I'll save that. And underneath that, want a p tag. I'll copy this and I'll paste it in the p tag, save. And underneath that, I want a button. Button with a name read more. I'll save that. And I want to paste this into 3 columns. So I'll just copy from this box 1. From the box 1, I'll copy the li, save, save. And the images and the content will be the same. So we're just going to change this to box 2 and box 3. And we're going to remove this active. We only need one active, which is the first one. And I'm going to save this. And the rest will remain the same. I won't be changing anything. So we have the same content in it. So now we have to go to the CSS to style it up. Let's go to the CSS. Oh, sorry for that. I'm going to change that. So I'll copy this, save it right here, and I'll change this to blog. And first I want to get the ID of blog. And I want to change the weight. I want to make the weight 100%. So it takes over the full weight of the site for the blog. And I want the mass weight to be 1400% pixels, and margin I want it to be auto, take everything to the center. So the reason why we use mass weight 1400 pixels is because whenever the weight goes way bigger like this, we want it to stay 1400 and stay at the center. So that is why we're using the mass weight 1400. So now I want to start the grade class. We're going to use the blog class grade, and I want to grade item, grade template column. The grade template column, I want that to be auto. So we're installing this part right here. So I want this to come to the right. So we use auto to come to the right. So now I want to justify the content, space between, and align. I want to align items. I want to align that to the end. Vertical, I want to vertically align it to the bottom. And I want to change the margin bottom to 50 pixels. Margin bottom 50 pixels. Okay, that is for that. I want this to be to the right and this to the right and this to the left. And what's happening? Oh, this should be space between. Space. I want it to be space between. Space between, yeah, this to the right and this to the left. I want that to be vertically aligned to the bottom. Items to the end, vertically aligned bottom, margin 50. Okay, so I want to start the H1, so blog dot grade H1. First, I want to remove the margin bottom. I want that to be 0, and the margin top, I want it to be 25 pixels. Save that, and now it's on the same line. So let's start the button as well. Say button. I want to change the color of that, the background color. The background color will be DDD, and the color of the text will be this color. Save that, and that is it. So next, we want to go to the boxes. We want to start these boxes, this part, and I will come to this part. So first, go back to the CSS and blog and class of boxes, UL, and display. I want that to display flex. Save. And main height, I want the main height to be 410 pixels. I want the max height to be 410 pixels as well. The margin, I want it to be 0. The padding, I want it to be 0. Sorry for that. The padding, I want that to be 0. The weight, I want it to be 100%. And overflow, hidden, list, style type. The list style type, I want it to be none. And box sizing, I want that to be border box. I'll save that. Now overflow hidden. So now go to I'll start the LI blog. We have the blog LI, and I'll flex. I want this to be flex 2. Display flex column gap. I want the column gap to be 20 pixels. Let me save that. See the weight. I want it to be 100%. Padding, I want it to be 30 pixels, 0, 30 pixels, bottom and 20 pixels to the right, to the left, 20 pixels to the left. Save that. Margin for the LI, I want the margin. So we want it to be margin, the top and bottom 0, the left and right, I want that to be 10 pixels. Background color, I want to change the background color to white. I want the cursor to be cursor pointer, and I want the transition all 0.5 seconds is. I want a border radius to be 10 pixels. I want the box sizing to be the box sizing to be border box, and I want to give it a shadow, so I'll just copy the shadow here, paste it right here, the box shadow. So I'll save that. So now I want to start this image first so that we can see what we're doing. Let's start the image first. So I'll just use the blog tag ID list tag with a class of section, title, image, img, and I will margin. I want the margin to be 0. The padding, I want it to be 0. White space, I want that to be no wrap, and I want the weight to be 250 pixels, and the border radius, I want that to be 10 pixels. I'll save. Now you can see so let's go back to the top, and I want to add an over effect to the li. So I say blog li, that's over. I want to change the background color to this color whenever it's over. Save. You see, the background color will be changed to this color. So this is it. It only changes when it's not active. We're going to do that with JavaScript. So now I want to include the active effect, blog li active, flex 10, background color, we want that to be white. I want the cursor to be default. Save. You see the active now has flex 10. Okay, sorry, this is the finished website. The active as flex 10, everything is flex 10. So now I want to start the active with the contact, with the section contacts. This is the section contact. So I want to start the active with the section contact, any active. Whenever it's active, I want to start the section contact. So now I'll go back to the CSS and I will say, let me come up here, say blog list li dot active dot section contents. The section content, I want it to be flex 4 and opacity, I want the opacity to be 1, transform, I want that to be scale 1, and I want the color to be this, and padding, I want the padding to be padding right. I want the padding right to be 30 pixels. So each shift, go back to the final, you see, there's this padding right, 30 pixels. So now I want to style the title, the section title, this right here, the section title. I want to style that. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll remove the image, remove all these as well. So I want this to be flex 1, display, I want it to display flex, align the contacts, I want to align that to the center, align items to the center. The weight, I want the weight to be 100%, margin 0, pattern 0. I want the text center. I want the text to be aligned center. I want the color to be white. So no matter the weight of this will not wrap. It won't go under the image. It will stay like this. So don't worry, we're going to use the JavaScript to make this so this will be hidden and only the active content will show. So this, we're going to use the JavaScript to do that. So for now, it will be like this. So lastly, I want to style the li contact, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here, remove the active, and So I want to align the items. I want to align them to the center. The items, these items, I want to align them to the center. All these, I want to align it to the center. So, and I want to remove every margin. Margin, I want that to be 0. The padding as well, I want that to be 0. Opacity, I want that to be 0. Weight, I want that to be 0. I want that to be 0, and overflow, heating, transition, all 0.25 seconds. The delay 0.1 seconds, and I want it to be ease out. Save. See, but it won't show the content yet. Only this one will show the content because this one is active. As you can see, let's go back to the HTML. You see I have the active right here, the active class. So only this is active now because it's the first one. But this one, the contents are hidden. They will only show when we include the JavaScript, the content will show. So you see, just like this. So we're going to use the JavaScript to do that. So for now, let's continue. What I want to create next is this section right here, the more features section. And that will be simple. I'll just go underneath this and I'll write more features. Save that. Alright guys, for the more features, I'm going to create a section tag first with a class of more features. And I'm going to go to the feature section. Okay, I'll come to this section and I'll copy from here to the div. I'll copy the container div in this section. And I'm going to paste that here. I'm going to paste it in this more features section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the main image, this left image. I'm going to copy it. I'll cut that away and I'll paste it on the, okay, I'll paste it on the days. As you can see, I'll paste it under the right class, the class with the right. I'll paste it underneath that. You see? So the reason why I'm doing that is because the reason why I copied it is because we're using the same thing. This section, this section and this section is the same. The inner part of it is the same. So that is why I'm using, that's why I copied it and pasted it here. So we're going to copy the CSS as well, so we don't repeat things all over again. So I'm going to remove, let me check. I'm going to remove the SEO solution, which is underneath this SEO solution, which is this. I'm going to remove that div. The service tree, I'm going to remove the service tree. So we only need two right here, these two. So we only need our two, and I'm going to change this image to this. I'm going to change this image. I'm going to change the image to section 3. The image will be section 3. So now we'll go to the CSS and style it up. Okay, so that is it. Now we'll go to the CSS. We'll style it up. So I'll go to the CSS for the features. About features. Okay, these features. I'm going to copy the CSS for that. I'll copy it and I'll go below and I'll paste it here. I'll change these to more features. More features. I'll change every feature element. Okay, I'll just copy this and paste it to every feature ID. I'll just highlight everything like that. I'll highlight them and I'll paste the more features. I'll change that to class because it seems it's class, not, yeah, it's class, not ID. So I'll change that to, okay, let me just, let me change these to ID. I'll change these to ID instead. I'll save. And I'll save these as well. So we'll remove this background of a thing. So this, I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to remove this. Okay, let me take it back. Sorry for that. I'm going to remove only these parts. I'll save that. I'll remove the background color. I'll save that as well. So I want the image to be 60% and the text at the right to be at the left to be 35%. So I'm going to copy this. I'll cut that and I'll paste it. I'll paste it right here. So you can see. I want to remove this background. I want to change that background to, I want to change that to F6, 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 E. This, I want to change it to this color. And I will remove the height. I want to remove the height for that. I'll save it. Now you see we are good. Everything looks the same. See, we do not go to a lot of stress just to change that. So I'm going to change these to more features in the HTML. I'm going to change these to more features. Yeah, so we're good to go. Think so. So after that, we want to create the FAQs. section. The FAQ section is the next section for us to create. So guys, for the FAQ question, the FAQ questions, we're still using the same styling. So I'll go below this, the section, and I'll comment this out. So now I want to use the section tag with a class of FAQ, and we wrap it up with a container tag, container class. I'm going to use the class of container and the class of grade. I'm going to use a div with a class of left and main image. This is it right here. I'm going to use this div class of left and main image. I'm going to change the image to section 4. Change the image to section 4. Save that. We have the image here. So now I want to include the right class, div with a class of right. We have the h4 with a class of subhead. Okay, in this I'm going to write f.a.q. I'm going to save that. And underneath this, I want to write a class, the tag of h1. One frequently asked questions. Underneath that, we're going to create a URL in an li tag. The li tag, we have a class called active. And we have the div with a class of section title. We have h3. The h3, we have this. Let me just copy that and paste it here. Underneath that, we have a p tag, which I'll copy that and I'll just paste it. Okay, underneath, after that, we have this arrow. Sorry for that. We have the arrow, and I'm going to, the arrow will be with a class of arrow. So I'm going to use the HTML codice, which is, I'm going to use this, and with a hash, we are going to use 10140 column, and it's going to give us this arrow. This is right here. This is the arrow. So after that, underneath the title section, I want to place a p tag. No, I want to place a div with a class of section content with a class of section content, and I'll place a div tag. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it in the div tag, in the p tag. I'll paste that in the p tag and I'll save. So now we have that here. Now I'm going to copy these, the li. I'm going to copy all of that. And I'm going to paste it 2 times. That will be 3. I'm going to remove the class of active from this. So I'm going to remove this class, active, and I'm going to remove this class as well. So we only want the first one to be active. So whenever we reload, we only want this, the first one, to be active. So that is why I'm going to remove the active from the rest class. Now we have to style it with our HTML. But before that, I'm going to change the text. This is how long does it take? Yeah, I'm going to change this to how long does it take? This will be is the site mobile? Is the site mobile friendly? I'm going to save that and I think that is all. So we'll jump into the CSS and style this up. Now to the CSS, I'll go underneath this. I'll comment this out. FAQ. So I want to take the class FAQ and I'll change the weight to 100%. Save that. FAQ, I want to get a container class and I'll use the grade template column. The grade template column, want that to be 60% by the right and 40% by the left. So I want this to be 60, the image will be 60 and the text by the left, by the right will be 40%. And I'm going to use this justify content. I'm going to use the space between. Give it a little gap. That will be 3 rem. Box sizing. I want that to be border box. I'm going to save that. That is it. So I want to start the image to use the FAQ dot left image. I want the width to be 100%. want to start the right URL, the UL. I want to start the UL. Margin, want that to be 0. The padding, want that to be 0 as well. Want the weight to be 100%. Want the height to be 100%. Overflow, want it to be hidden. And the list style type, I want it to be none. Now save. So we don't have the button anymore. There's no button. So we've removed that from that. The bullet points, we've removed that. So I'll go underneath this and FAQ. Let's start the li tag. That's right. Li. Want the height for that to be 0 pixels. Want the width to be 100%. I want the weight to be 100%. The cursor, I want to change the cursor to pointer. So when we point on this pointer, don't worry, everything stacks on each other for now because of this height. We want the height to be 0. That is why the li, it stacks everything on each other. Every text are on each other. I'm going to remove that. So next, I want the transition. I want to include a transition effect. I want that to be all 0.5 seconds is margin bottom. Want it to be 50 pixels. Save that. And you see it is. Whenever I save it, you see that transition. You see? So now I want to style the active class. FAQ li.active. Now we have an active class here, which is this, the first list item, active. And I want to dot section, the section contact. I want it when it's clicked, it reviews this section contact, only this reviews. So I'll make the cursor to be cursor, want that to be default. Want to change that to default. The height, I want the height to be 120 pixels. Save that. Want to style the arrow. So FAQ dot arrow, the class arrow. So I'm going to display that. Display inline block. Want it to display inline block. I want the font size to be 16 pixels. The font size, the color, I want that to be this 0F. Now save that. So now everything stacks on each other for now. I want to get the FAQ. So I also want, when any of this is active, I want the arrow to rotate. I see the arrow is facing this way, but I want it to rotate 90 degrees facing the bottom. You say it rotates 90 degrees facing the bottom whenever each list item is active. So we're going to include that as well. Li dot active h3 dot arrow. So when the h3 is clicked with the arrow, I want it to transform. I want it to transform, rotate. I want it to be 90 degree. Save that. It won't work now because we need the CSS we need the JavaScript to do that. So I'm going to start the title. I want to remove the margin and the padding from the title, so it's closer. I'll remove the margin and the padding from that. FAQ, li, section, title, on the H, no, margin, I want it to be 0, and the padding, I want that to be 0 as well. The FAQ, I want the li, I want to style the h3, li, section title, and I want to start the h3. I'll make that margin bottom. I want that to be 10 pixels, and padding, I want that to be 0. Save that. Now I want to style the section content itself. You see, the section content, we want to style that itself, so I'll just say FAQ li that section content, and I want to remove the margin from that 0. The padding as well, I want to remove that 0. Opacity, I want the opacity to be 0, and the height, I want it to be 0. So I want to hide the content, the section content. I want to hide that. Overflow, hidden, and transition. I want it to be all 0.25 seconds. Delay 0.1 seconds, and ease out. Save. So it's hidden, but we're going to use the JavaScript to review that. So we're going to use the JavaScript to review this. For now, it's hidden, but I want this arrow to be right here. So I want this this arrow to be here, like this. And okay, I made a mistake here. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it in the H3. I'm going to paste it in the H3. Going to save that. Let's check. Yeah, it's there now. I'm going to copy this as well. Cut that and paste it here. I'll cut this as well. Now paste it here. So I'll save that. And now we have it, the front. The reason why this is facing down, because this is active. This is the active class. That is why this is facing down. The arrow is facing down, as you can see. So I'll go to the CSS. I also want to do something here. The test should be showing because this is active. For now, this test should be showing like this. The test should be showing like this. Something is wrong with our HTML, with our CSS. Come in. Let me check. Seems okay. I'm gonna copy this and I'll paste it here. I'm gonna remove this. We want the height to be 120 when it is active. We want the height of this to be 120 when it is active. And you know, yeah, for the content, yeah, for the content, yeah, this is, let me just copy this. Let me cut this right here so you can see what I want to explain right here. I'll paste that, I'll paste it here, I'll paste it here. So for the content here, this is the content. For the content div, you want the margin 0, padding 0, the opacity, you want it to be 0 as well. The height, I want the height to be 0 as well. And now, I want the height of this, the li, I want the height to be 120 when it's active, and when it is active, the list item, when it is active, I want the section content, where it is this, I want the opacity, to be 1. So I want the opacity of that to be 1, and I want the height, I want that to be 100% of what this is. 100%. I'll save it, as you can see. Now it's not clicking yet. When it is active, you can click it, but when it is not, then you can click it. That's why for the active section, the cursor is default. The active section, the cursor is default, but if it isn't active, the cursor will be pointer. As you can see, the cursor here is pointer, the cursor here is default. So we're going to use JavaScript to switch between each one of them when we get to the JavaScript section. So next we're going to create the testimonial section. So watch the next tutorial. I'm going to link out below, or I'm going to put it at the board at the top. I'm going to add that there so you can just watch it for you to complete this website. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate. Subscribe below if you haven't yet, and give this video a thumbs up if you really want it. And thanks. Watch the next video to complete the tutorial.